Hello, everybody. Welcome to another couple hours with myself and the other guys in the day room. This evening, we're going to be talking about cryptids and folklore items in honor of Halloween. So, currently, we have in the backstage our good buddy Tommy D. And here in a moment, hopefully, we will have a couple others jumping in. But all right, we got Sean St. George joining us. While I completely agree with the sentiment on both of your titles, tonight's not the night, man.
Understood.
Okay, so Sean, before we jump into how we're gonna open this thing up, do you still have that list of cryptid and folklore creatures from Alaska?
It should be up.
Okay, awesome. If you
I just got to find the right window that it's in.
if
Got
you want to
it.
go ahead and drop a link to that or to that for me in the private chat while Tommy's doing the story that's going to be our intro to this, I'll go ahead and
Done.
pull it up so we can incorporate it.
There we go.
Sound good, everybody?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. Tommy, I am going to full screen you. Go ahead and
Alrighty.
go
I
ahead and
will
read the
grab my
story.
book. By the way, we are reading from the original Brothers Grimm. This was translated from German fairly recently. There wasn't an English version of it. Your Brothers Grimm is not this Brothers Grimm. But our opening story is called Godfather Death. Once upon a time, there was a poor man who already had 12 children when the 13th was born. Since he was at his wits' end and in such distress, he ran into the forest where he encountered our dear Lord, who said to him, I feel sorry for you, my poor man. I shall stand sponsor to your child at the baptism and take care of him so that he'll live happily on this earth. Upon saying this, the Lord left him standing there and moved on. Soon thereafter, the poor man encountered death, who likewise spoke to him and said, I want to be your godfather and stand sponsor to your child. If he has me as his friend, he will never be in need. I'll make him into a doctor. I'm satisfied with this, with what you say, said the man. You don't have a different, or you don't make a difference between rich and poor when you fetch them. Tomorrow is Sunday. My son will be baptized. Just show up at the right time. The next morning, Death came and held the child during the baptism. After the child had grown up, Death came once again and took his godson into the forest. Now, you are to become a doctor. You will only have to pay attention to what I say. When you are called to a sick person and you see me standing at his head, it is a sign that I won't take him. Let him smell the vapors of this bottle and rub the salve on his feet. Then he'll become well again. However, if I stand at his feet, then it's all over, and I will take him. Don't try to cure him. Upon saying this, Death gave him the bottle, and the young man became a famous doctor. He only had to take a look at a sick person, and he knew in advance whether the person would become well again or had to die. One time he was called to the king, who was lying in bed because of a serious illness. When the doctor entered the room, he saw Death standing at the king's feet, and so the vapors of the bottle could not be of any help. Nevertheless, he had an urge to deceive Death. So he grabbed hold of the king, turned him around so that Death stood at his head. This change succeeded, and the king became well again. However, when the doctor returned home, Death came to him, gave him some fierce looks, and said, "If you dare trick me another time, I'll twist your head off." Soon thereafter, the king's beautiful daughter became sick, and nobody in the world could help her. The king wept day and night. Finally, he announced that whoever cured her would have her as his reward and marry her. So the doctor came and saw Death standing at the feet of the princess. Since he was completely enchanted by her beauty, however, he forgot all of Death's warnings. Turned the princess around, let her smell the vapors of the bottle, and rubbed the soles of her feet with a sob. No sooner did he return home than Death stood there with a horrible look on his face. Then he seized his godson and carried him to an underground cave where 1,000 candles were burning. Take a look, Death said. These are the candles of the living, and this light over here, there's only burning a little. This is your life. Watch out! And that is it, gentlemen.
And that is how you set the tone for a podcast.
You like that?
Now that's a good one. And
I thought it was.
and that is definitely a YouTube friendly one.
Uh-huh. I was waiting for Death to twist his head off, and he didn't.
Yeah, it definitely ties into your theory that might have been a story that we didn't quite, or that they didn't quite get the full story from.
Yeah, as we discussed earlier, that maybe something was missing that didn't get translated or just didn't get captured in the original collection.
Yeah, because pretty much all of these old fairy tales and folklore stories were stories passed down from generation to generation as morality tales and things to use to keep children, well, basically behaving themselves.
Well, and even adults.
Mm-hmm.
If we need some filler, I have many more tales, gentlemen.
Well,
It's a big book.
I'm sure
It
you
is.
do. Okay. So, Sean, ready
Mm-hmm.
to go ahead and jump into the critters from Alaskan folklore?
Sure.
Figured we'll start with the ones that you guys actually brought the receipts for, and we can move on to other just random cryptids from the wiki afterwards.
Sounds good.
Works for me.
Oh, that's not what I want to
Okay.
share. Almost shared one of Pop's videos by accident. That would have been a whoops.
Mm-mm.
Well, I doubt you get copyright claimed from that.
No, but still, I'd rather get his permission before I do it.
Of course.
Oh,
So-
even worse. It'll be somebody who's claiming it on his behalf
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that he
Oh.
has no association with.
Right.
So, Sean, do you want to read it off of your computer and I just keep it up so people can try to read along with it, or
Sure.
how do you
That
want to do
works.
this?
I'll go ahead and read along because I got it pulled up on my end. But if you just keep scrolling down as we go, then
Okay.
I
We're
think
just
we
going
can
to go ahead
make
and
it
jump
work.
straight to the first creature on the list.
Yep, Kalupalik. So the Kalupalik is a creature of Inuit legend described as being human-like and having green skin, long hair, very long fingernails. She lives in the sea, hums to entice children to come closer to the water, and wears a mautic, I think, is how it's properly
I think that's the way it's
pronounced.
pronounced.
Okay.
Which is a parka worn by Inuit women to hold a child against the back, built in a baby pouch. If you're familiar with Alaska natives and how poofy their attire is,
Yeah,
well, their native attire, not all the Western attire that they've grown accustomed to in later years.
they're traditional materials.
Yep, pretty big, pretty poofy stuff, but they've got to live in negative 50-degree weather on a consistent basis. So you kind of get an understanding what it looks like and how easy a creature can either mimic or imitate.
Yeah.
So parents and elders tell the children that they are or if they are disobedient and wander too close to the sea, the Kalupalik, oh God, will
Just
come
call
on
it
shore.
Q.
the Q. We'll put them in her parka and then take them back to the sea and raise them as her own children, never to be seen by their family again. So if you're ever standing on the shore of the Arctic Ocean and hear a woman humming, run. Sounds a lot like sirens from
Yeah,
the Iliad.
or it also sounds a lot like the tale of the Pied Piper of Hamelin.
There's some of that, and there's also the cryptid from Scotland.
The
The
Banshee.
no, not the Banshee. That's Ireland. Well, I guess it's in Scotland too. No, there's another one that Count Dankula covered. What the hell is
Yeah,
it
I can't
called?
remember the name of it. Like
It's
his
a
crypt
dead
series.
horse-like thing. What the hell is the name of it? I can't remember. I want to say it's a Kelpie.
You might be right there,
Maybe.
because
I think that's it.
that does seem like it fits all the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so ready to move on to the next one?
Yep. All right, the Tornet. Stories of the Alaska Bushmen or Tornets have been told since the first humans crossed the Bering Land Bridge.
Oh,
In the
hey,
beginning,
hang on one
Yep.
quick second. We've just been joined by an outlaw.
Oh, great. Outlaw's here.
a witchy
Hey,
outlaw.
How you doing?
Oh, is he being witchy or is he being Daphne tonight? I don't. Oh, okay, he's being a little
He's
witchy.
witchy.
That's
Yeah,
witchy.
being witchy.
Oh, you missed our intro, outlaw.
I know. I was trying to get over here as fast as I could. Brother, what did I miss?
Oh,
Oh,
you missed my
just death.
reading.
Dang.
Just replay it later. You'll get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you'll enjoy it. It's worth the replay.
It is. It's a good story.
Okay, so you want to go ahead and continue, Sean?
Yep. I want to continuing on. For the Bering Land Bridge, at the beginning the story goes, the Inuit and the Tornets lived peacefully in villages near each other and shared common hunting grounds. Inuit people often used kayaks for hunting, while the Tornets were unable to master building the kayaks. They were aware of the advantages of having and using one. One story goes that a young Tornet borrowed a young Inuit's kayak without permission. How naughty! And damaged the bottom of it. The young Inuit became very angry and stabbed the Tornet. It sounds like a familiar story too.
Yeah, there's a few stories that follow this archetype.
Mm-hmm. And the nape of the neck while he was sleeping, killing him. Jesus. The rest of the Tornets feared that they too would be killed by the Inuit and fled the country, rarely to be seen again. Since that time, many stories have come about of out of the bush of hunters disappearing, later found dead and mangled, or never seen again. Apparently, hunters and the Tornets no longer peacefully shared common hunting grounds. Every spring, my family and the Panillo clan, a Hawaiian family we're close to go a little too quick.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right. Yeah, the Panillo clan head up to Willow Creek for fish. Actually, I'm not too far from Willow. For salmon in the Deshka and Little Sioux rivers. One particularly rainy and cold spring, my father, brother, and I were pulling in salmon after salmon when a nasty, skunky, musky smell floated towards us. Usually that's a bear. Because bears
Well-
stink to high heaven.
Could that have been a bear, or could that have been a certain member of Congress? Just asking for a friend.
It depends. Unfortunately, they do like to vacation here.
Some of your Congress people are pretty nasty too. So anyway,
Well, that is if they ever show up to a vote. Because
Well,
they
you notice I didn't specify any one particular group.
neither did I.
All right. One particular rainy and cold spring, my father, brother, and I were pulling salmon. Yep. So that's it suddenly dawned on us that most of the other fishy families had quietly and quickly disappeared. Mr. Panilla always fished with a shotgun by his side, and my own father was always armed with a Colt 45, and now he unsnapped his holster and quietly told us to reel in our gear and pack up. Since we'd be the only ones fishing for about an hour, it wasn't anywhere near dark. All of us kids were a little confused, but knowing not to question our dads when they gave us an order. Good kids. Did as we were told. I whispered to my dad, asking what was wrong. He whispered back, bear. But I wasn't so sure. I'd never smelled a bear like that. As we were crossing the railroad, I remember looking at some trees that had been uprooted and stuck upside in the ground. That's a familiar cryptid behavior.
Yeah, isn't
Often
that?
wondered. Yeah, it's a Bigfoot.
I was about to say, isn't that strongly associated with Bigfoot and related
Yeah.
entities?
Well, we've got some Bigfoot sightings out here from credible witnesses, but they just don't bring back enough proof to convince anybody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But of course, when you're out in the bush, you don't always think to, bring a camera.
Well, of course not. That requires a special licensing and contracts.
But they talk about the railroad. I think I might know the exact spot that they were at. Which, yeah, that's bear country.
Is it
There's only one way to get up and down, and that is to climb the hill that there's a railroad bridge on.
out of curiosity? Is it relatively close to you?
Yeah, about 25, 30 miles.
That's pretty
You know,
close.
before the next stream that we do, might ask you to see about going out there and snapping a few photos.
Yeah, I could probably do that. Or I could probably find some online, but either way, you should be able to
Oh no, what I'm getting at
do
is
that.
get an eyewitness viewing on this one.
Yeah, well, if it is the exact same one, because there are a bunch of rail lines. I mean, Alaska's so vast. Rail is the
Mhm.
primary mode of transportation for long distances,
Touche.
uh, for both passenger and commercial.
Yep.
So,
Like I
unless
said,
you have to go get flown out, because if you're not in like the population centers, like you're in the old villages, you got to fly out there. There ain't no
Mhm.
road, there ain't no rail.
okay.
You got to fly out there because there's at least flat land.
Yeah, don't need to say any more, man.
All right. Stuck upside down. I often wondered why and how someone could do that. I learned many years later that that was a telltale sign of Bigfoot territory. I guess I'll never know if that was a bear, Bigfoot, that displaced us from the fishing of the evening, but I do know that that was the last time our families ever fished that river. It was also the first and only time all the kids got to sleep, or at least try to, in the camp trailer instead of tents. All right, the adlet. Third creature to inhabit my middle school nightmares was the bloodthirsty Aldet, which bears some resemblance of the better known werewolf. From the Inuit legend, the Adlet are a race of people said to have lower body of dogs but the upper body of humans. Typically, they are believed to be the offspring of an Inuit woman and a dog. God, considering what we've seen in modern times, that's not far fetched.
No,
No,
not
nor
even
is it
close.
abnormal anymore.
Nope. Brought about this through unnatural mating. The woman gave birth to 10 children. Half of them were dogs, and the other half were Adlet. The family was sent to a remote island because they were so voracious, and their grandfather would hunt them and provide, or hunt for them and provide them with meat. Every day, the dog husband, excuse me, was supposed to swim from the island to the mainland, where the grandfather was supposed to fill a pair of boots wrapped around the dog's neck with meat. Eventually, the grandfather filled the boots with rocks, drowning the
Mm.
husband instead. Ooh.
Well, if he was that much of a dog,
Fearing for her children's lives, the mother sent them inland where they spawned more adlet. The adlets are more typically portrayed as aggressive savages who will attack men when they cross paths.
That sounds a
Sounds
lot
like
like
they
this.
got.
That
Oh,
sounds
good.
like a. That sounds a lot like the satyrs from Greek mythology.
I'm not
Mm,
familiar with them.
the satyrs
Basic.
and the werewolves, actually.
Um, if I remember the myth correctly, satyrs are half man, half goat,
Yes.
where they have the lower, or they have the legs and the feet of goats.
Yes.
The
Oh,
from
okay.
from the waist up, they're more or less human, although their
Mhm.
forearms, back of their necks, and the crowns of their heads are more furry,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember
Yeah, that's
correctly.
that's not
Nope,
the only
you're
one.
correct.
There's the centaur that's like that too.
Well, the
No,
centaurs are horse
no,
with a human torso.
the centaur is basically where if you lopped a human body from the pelvic girdle, or lopped off the human body at the pelvic girdle and
Hmm.
attached it to where a horse's neck is.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just saying, like with common Greek myth or mythical cryptids, half human, half animal bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's incredibly common in the ancient world.
Yep.
All right. Although the Adlet legend is based in far north mythology, a version of the story also appears in Greenland, where the Adlet are instead dubbed.
Don't even try.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
ease, echoes. A few researchers have linked it to European tales of the werewolf. Shortly after studying the Adlet, the wonderfully gory movie American Werewolf in London came out. I'm not sure if that or I'm not sure if it was the legend, the movie, or my friend Joy eating beef burrito during the movie that gave me countless nightmares of being chewed on by a large, mangy, growling wolf.
Oh man.
All right. Do you even want to
Uh,
try pronouncing that name?
Tis Haruk, but
Yeah. Tis Haruk.
I think Tango for short will be fine.
Yeah, or call it Tizzy.
Tizzy.
You want to take a break from reading and have me read this one out?
Yeah, go ahead.
All
Kiddo
right.
is in desperate need of something enough to bother me for this, so I'm gonna go
Okay.
check it out.
Sounds good. In mythology, the Tizaruk are large snake-like sea creatures that are believed to roam Alaska's waters. They are described as having a head 7 feet long with a tail ending in a flipper, for a total of 12 to 15 feet long. Tizaruk were said to snatch people from docks and piers. I'm not sure if one of them accidentally fell in because the docks never get iced over and slippery. Maybe next time I'm down at the docks in Seward and find myself haphazardly sliding down the ramps on the ice, I'll blame the Tizaruk instead of my own clumsiness. The Tizaruk have some similarities to the wow. Okay.
Heitlich. Heitlich.
Thank you.
That's what I would say that is.
Or lightning snakes, occasionally associated with the thunderbird of southeast Alaska and the Pacific Northwest native cultures. Once the thunderbird spotted a killer whale, it would launch Heitlich as living weapons by throwing them from the skies like lightning. That sounds a
Holy
lot like Zeus and Thor mythology mixed together.
right, but they're lightning snakes.
So
So,
like,
That's fucked up.
so these are serpents that are enlightened.
I'm thinking they're electric serpents.
that sounds like electric eels of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Well, I'm sure most of these legends are based on somebody bumping into a critter and not having a really good way to explain it away.
Yeah.
And that's how most legends began. Okay, we're going to go on and move on to the Keelet. The Keelet is described as an evil earth spirit that takes the form of a black, hairless dog with the only hair on its feet, much like the black dogs of Great Britain. following travelers at night, attacking them and killing them. If a trail of dog tracks is found that suddenly disappears, it is believed that the keelet is nearby. Now, Alaska is filled with all kinds of canines: wolves, foxes, coyotes, sled dogs, and your typical domestic dogs. AOC on vacation. With all the canine activity, I'm not sure how you could confirm Big Bad Keelet was tracking you unless he came up and bit you on the rump with a wicked laugh. And it gets downright cold in winter, and some summers too. So being hairless isn't really indicative of being very smart in my book.
Or it's a demon.
Yeah. And according to the author, this one never really scared them all that much. What they tried passing off as in food in the lunchroom was much more terrifying. That sounds like one of my jokes right there.
I like it.
And I'll be the first to admit that sounds like one of my jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so before we jump over to the website that I picked for our main attraction for tonight, Outlaw, do you have any cryptid stories or particular folklore stories that you really had jump out at you?
Actually, yes, I do. Let me see if I can
Sweet.
pull this up here.
You got a
And I don't
got a
know
southern thing?
if I could share screen. Let me,
Go ahead and send me the link. I'll pull it up for you.
all right, let me get this right here.
As long as it's not hidden behind a paywall.
Yeah.
No. Hold on, give me a second.
See, for me, growing up in Southwest Missouri, I had all sorts of cryptid-esque tales that I had to deal with.
There we go.
Alrighty. Opening it up.
That-
Oh, 5 creatures that reportedly roam Alabama's back roads.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nice. Hang on one second. Oh, we've got a good one here from Slick South. And I'm not going to say you're wrong on that one, Slick.
Nope, I won't disagree with that either. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them.
Well, because there is actually a theory that a lot of the demons that are out there are the spirits of Nephilim that cannot go to heaven or hell.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And if anybody doesn't know what a Nephilim is, they're the giants of the ancient world.
okay, so 5 mythical creatures that reportedly roam Alabama's back roads. Okay, so going to start with the Wolf Woman of Mobile. Do you want to read this out loud, or do you want me to?
If you want to, you can read it.
Okay.
I'll read the note.
Oh, come on, Outlaw. Your
no,
fucking drawl is awesome.
Oh, hang on. I can read it. I can read it off, and he can give context.
Yeah.
Okay, so the half wolf, half woman creature was so frightened the citizenry of Mobile that people began calling the press register to report the sightings. On April 8th, 1971, the newspaper reported the phenomenon, complete with a drawing of the creature conceived of by a newspaper illustrator. Listening to as many as 50 phone calls the press register has received day and night in approximately a week, you wonder if perhaps there isn't something out there. Witnesses described the creature as pretty and hairy, and the top half was a woman and the bottom was a wolf. An unnamed teenager is quoted as saying, "My daddy saw it down in a marsh and chased it home. Now my mommy keeps all the doors and windows locked." I have to wonder what kind of teenager actually still used that kind of terminology even in the 70s.
Ma and Pa, maybe.
Yeah, moving on.
Yeah.
The reporter said the fear of witnesses seemed real, although the initial reports would have begun on April Fool's Day. And although officers could not make an official comment, they did investigate to determine what exactly Mobile's citizens were seeing. Sightings of half woman, half human, or half wolf, half human creatures have been reported throughout history, with the werewolf being the most common incarnation. The legends of anthropomorphic creatures stem from Indian folk or American Indian folklore and capture the imagination. Within days, the sightings of the Wolf Woman of Mobile have stopped and not been reported since. That's a good one. That is one I have never heard before.
Hmm.
And I
Oh, yeah.
collect conspiracies and creepy stories, so that's one I'm definitely going to have to look into in the future. Is
Okay.
any Okay, what's going on here? Apparently Sean dropped out.
He's just, he's gonna stay backstage for a bit.
Okay.
He's
My
got boy
apologies.
issues. It's all
Okay.
good. So,
Okay.
Outlaw,
Yeah.
have you got anything to add on to that story that you know of?
It's a new one on me too, man. You know, when I was looking these
Huh.
up and trying to find these, that one was new on me too. I've never heard that, and I've been to Mobile probably once or twice in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's definitely something I'm gonna have to look into too, because that's pretty neat.
Okay. We are going to go ahead and bypass Bigfoot, mainly because everyone's
Yeah.
heard of Bigfoot. And
Oh,
Bigfoot and Mothman are essentially the poster children of cryptids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the
Ooh.
Alabama White Thing.
Oh, this has got to be racist.
I
Do,
it's just what they
okay.
put it for
Has
me.
it got a pointy white hood?
Do,
Oh shit!
do we want to risk reading this one on stream or not? Only because the terminology there definitely seems like it could be taken way out of context.
You could probably
Well, it
come
kind of
back to that
sounds.
one.
It,
Yeah,
it kind of sounds like a golem almost, but yeah, let's skip that one for now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's bypass this one. After
Yeah.
we're done with this article, I won't close everything out, but I will go ahead and leave it in the back, and we can talk about it later on if we want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Are they formatting this? They have got this formatted so weirdly. Okay.
Yeah, they will do.
The
Downy Booger.
Well, hang on. There. Okay.
And Huggin' Molly.
Yeah. Okay. So there's something here called the Huggin' Molly. For mothers wanting their children to hurry home at dark, the legend of the witch-like Huggin' Molly was a helper. For children, she was downright frightening. The Abbeville legend of Huggin' Molly began decades ago. Legend claims a phantom woman would appear to children, but only at night. She would squeeze them tightly and then scream in their ears. She never harmed them, other than perhaps causing some ringing in the ears. The figure was as much as 7 feet tall, wearing dark clothing and a wide-brimmed hat. Sounds like a typical witch story right there.
Sounds like my sister, but
please.
she's only 4'10".
One version of the story claims that Molly was the ghost of a woman who had lost an infant who dealt with the tragedy by hugging local children. Another states that Molly was a professor at the former Southeast Alabama Architectural School or Agricultural School who was trying to keep students safe by keeping them off the streets at night. Today, Abbeville remembers Huggin' Molly by venturing downtown and stopping in a cafe named for the Phantom. Huggin' Molly's is set in an old pharmacy complete with a soda fountain and offers such treats as seriously
Yeah, they spelled it that way.
sand witches and Molly fingers.
Oh my god.
I don't remember writing that one, but that sounds like something I would write.
That's a terrible pun.
Guys,
man.
am I wrong? Is that not basically something I would write?
Pretty much.
It's right along the lines of your thought processes.
Holy cow. and Slick South. I don't know if
Yeah,
they're
he's just laughing.
I'm not sure if you're laughing at my reactions or if you're laughing at the story itself, but either way.
It don't matter.
Yeah, we got some.
Okay, moving on to the last one. The Downy Booger. A series of sightings of the Downy Booger, a half-human, half-animal, were reported in the late 1800s, according to Joyce Ferris, whose husband is a descendant of the Downies of Winston County. The tale is part family lore. Another descendant, Vera Whitehead, recorded the history, which Ferris published on a website of Winston County history. I'm going to kind of just paraphrase this, I think. Two of the brothers were jostling along on their thoroughbreds, recounting the events of the evening when a strange-looking creature, resembling both a human and an animal, jumped out in front of them. They turned around and started toward home. As they approached the sand bed where this creature had appeared, the horses came to an abrupt stop. They gouged them, they tried to get the horses to move forward. They wouldn't budge. Finally, they turned around and rode back to the house. I am not going to say that on YouTube. Remembering a longer route they could take. Others saw the creature nicknamed the Downy Booger, and one sighting would lead to its demise, according to Whitehead. On a moonlit night in early fall, an individual loaded his two-horse wagon with his barrels of homemade moonshine and headed towards the commissary in Galloway, a mining town a few miles from his home. Glancing over his right shoulder, his eyes fell upon a peculiar-looking creature waltzing on 2 feet behind his wagon. He froze, first impulse to try to outrun it. Then he remembered the gun on the wagon seat beside him. He took the revolver, aimed, fired twice. It screamed and went limping away on 3 feet. The news quickly spread. Jim Jackson had shot the booger. A posse was formed. They combed the forest, only finding traces of blood leading from the sandbed to a distant cliff. Until this day, this incident was repeated among the residents of Winston County. That what the Downy Booger was will forever be a mystery.
I know exactly what it was.
What's your theory on that one?
It was a highwayman trying to steal the frickin' moonshine, and he screamed like a bitch when he got shot.
It sounds reasonable.
Mhm. Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so Outlaw, since that's from your general neck of the woods, do you have any particular comments or insights on any of those?
No, but what Tommy proposes, yeah, sounds very, very plausible.
Oh yeah, and that is one of the things with cryptozoology.
Well, I've watched a lot of Cotton. You know, if you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy, he was definitely a cryptid.
Well, what I'm getting at with cryptozoology, 99% of cryptozoology cases can be explained away as a misidentified animal of some sort.
Or even just a crazy, hermit human.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's where you come into the ones that are in that 5% that you have to wonder, is this actually a creature? Or was this individual just high on cough syrup?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Tripping balls.
We've all seen what Jim Henson came up with when he was sober. Imagine what he came up with when he was on something.
Oh,
wasn't Jim Henson a really good Orthodox type Christian person?
I think so, if I remember correctly.
If I remember right, he was. And what they did to the Muppets after his death?
Yeah, he would be pissed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we are going to go ahead and move on to the next thing. I found while doing research on some less well-known cryptids,
Uh-oh.
a cryptid wiki.
Hmm.
So I've got a list here of a few different cryptids that I think might sound fun to go over. And what we'll do, take a look on the wiki, take a look at the articles that they have for it. And if we see anything in particular while looking for the articles I've got, we'll go ahead and redirect to those.
Mhm.
Anyone in the chat, if you have a story of a cryptid that you would like us to go ahead and look at, drop it in. I have no qualms whatsoever about going ahead and redirecting to what the audience wants to talk about. So, moving on to the first item that I found on this list of less well-known cryptids. Has anyone ever heard about the Yang Vio?
I don't think so.
I'm wondering if you're pronouncing that wrong.
Yativio.
Wait a minute. Scroll back down.
Gosh
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. TVO. Yeah, I would say.
It
So,
looks.
has any of you, or has anyone here ever heard of that particular beastie?
No, and it looks like something you get out of what's his bucket?
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. Yeah.
Okay. The Yativio is a famous carnivorous tree found in South America with a more famous African cousin. In J.W. Buell's The Land and the Sea from 1887, the Yativio, I see you already plant is said to catch and consume large insects, but also attempts to consume humans. The Yativio is said to be a carnivorous plant that grows in parts of Central America and South America, with cousins in Africa and on the shores of the Indian Ocean. There are many different descriptions of the plant, but most reports say it has a short, thick trunk, long tendril-like appendages, which are used to catch prey. Some even claim it has an eye to locate prey with. The natives feared it as it had bad omens. I gotta redo that. The natives feared it as if it had bad omens, and was thought to be the work of evil witch doctor magic. In 1881, Carl Leitch, I'm just going to stick with the original pronunciation, told the tale of a terrible tree that would feast upon the Doku. I'm not even sure how that's supposed to be pronounced. I'm sorry. Tribe of Madagascar. The German gave a gruesome.
It's Madako.
Madako?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The German gave a gruesome account of his encounter as the plant slobbered on a filly. Slender, delicate palpi, with the fury of starved serpents, quivered a moment over her head, and then, as if instinct with demonic intelligence, fastened upon her in sudden coils around her neck and arms, and then, while her awful screams and yet more awful laughter rose, to be instantly strangled down to a gurgling moan. The tendrils, one after another, like great green serpents with brutal energy and infernal rapidity, rose, retracted themselves, and wrapped her about in fold after fold, ever tightening with cruel swiftness and savage tenacity of anacondas fastening upon their prey. Now, we're not going to read the entire article on this, but there is something that you guys might find interesting. This thing has appeared in some form or another in popular media.
Mm-hmm.
It appears in Zoo Cartoon 2. A creature from the video game Resident Evil Resistance derives its name and characteristics from this tree. And in Final Fantasy XIV, it is a common enemy in one of the expansions. And we've got some artwork.
This thing sounds like a cock tree from any of the tentacle porn that you can find on fucking anime.
Sounds awesome.
Hey, Tom?
Mm.
Oh, never mind. Sorry about that. No, don't worry about it.
The thing sounds awesome.
So it almost makes you want to go up and ask Rhino, "Hey, you want to join this thing for a salad?"
Oh my god.
Where the hell is Rhino? I thought he was going to join us tonight.
Yeah, he's got things to do.
Yeah, he's being a bitch.
Okay, so let's head back to the categories. Is there anything in the W or Y's that you all can think of that you would like to take a closer look at?
Hmm.
Ooh, chupacabra.
That's a C.
Yep.
I said Y's. Since we're already on
Oh, and
this
the
page.
Ys, I don't give a shit about the Ys. Let's do a C.
Actually, I do have one other one on here, and this is from Australia.
Ooh. The Yowie?
Yep.
I've heard of the Yowie. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Well, I guess it's a good thing we stayed in W or Y's then now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Oh, fuck, it's Bigfoot. God damn it.
Yeah, it's an Australian Bigfoot apparently.
It's a hairy bushman.
Yowie, also known as Yahoo, Yuri, Hairy Man, or Yahoo, is a fanged humanoid marsupial or great ape featured in Aboriginal mythology along with Australian raptors, bunyips, and Burrinjor. The Yowie is considered to be the Australian Bigfoot and contains many primate-like features, possibly indicating that it is an undiscovered species of great ape or prehistoric human. The Yowie is described as being one of the most aggressive Sasquatch species and has been reported tearing heads off of kangaroos and dogs. It has been seen attacking humans as well, however, that is rare. It is described to be between 5 and 9 feet tall, with a large red mouth and talon-like claws according to Aboriginal legends. It is also noted that the Yowie contained 2 large fang-like canines, which distinguish the Yowie from other Bigfoot species.
Mm.
It usually has brown or reddish fur. Like most Bigfoot species, it is theorized that it descends from an ancient ape called the Gigantopithecus blackie. While the theory may be valid, it is highly unlikely that it descends from the same Asian ape, as creatures from Asia never made it to Australia due to sea depth and vice versa. However, we do know that certain people used canoes early on.
You know, on this one, guys, I'm thinking this is one of the pissed off Scottish prisoners that got transferred. And he just let himself go. Honestly.
Well, now here's something you might find interesting. The most recent sightings were reported in early 2021, with three of them reported in 2021 and at least 6 in 2020.
Yeah.
All of them in the state of Queensland.
Guys,
nice.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you guys, this is a pissed off Scot that got transferred over there in the 1800s to the penal colony, and he didn't like it, and he let himself go, and then he bred with the local Aboriginals, and they all got hairy, and they grew canines, and they were redheads. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, this is what it
guys,
is.
I'm not going to read this one only because of the fact that we are on YouTube and it could trigger the algorithm. But take a look right there.
Oh.
Oh.
That one's actually probably less than you think it is bad.
Probably, but the title alone could trigger the algorithm.
Yeah. Well, at least they didn't call it the eager one.
Yeah, let's not go any further.
That's all I said. That's all I said.
Okay, so I was going to avoid Chupacabra because everyone's heard about that one, but we'll go ahead and bounce over to there.
Well, let's see what it says because everybody knows what it is.
Oh yeah.
But nobody actually knows what it is.
Oh my gosh, they've actually got a cactus cat in here.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure if that's cute or not.
Probably not. It's probably Pokey.
Okay, chupacabra.
CHUP.
I see it. El Chupacabra is a cryptid that is renowned for its attacks on livestock, hence the Spanish name, the goat sucker. Oh, actually, I forgot about something before we move further.
Hmm.
Tommy,
Hmm.
be honest.
What?
Are any of your South American girlfriends gardeners?
No, because they're all city dwellers.
So you're safe then.
Well, no. That's not entirely true because my girlfriend's mother, the one that I actually was fiance, she has a garden plot,
Did
but
she have any trees?
no, they didn't have any trees in there. It was all herbs and spices and stuff.
Okay, so you're safe.
Oh yeah. Well, I wasn't worried about it anyway because they can suck my milk all day long.
Well, I was more thinking you were gonna go on vacation down there and get a little too close to one of the trees in the garden.
No, they don't have any of the what the hell was the name of the plant and
Yeah, TVO,
Rocky Horror or what was it? Little Shop of Horrors.
something like that.
Feed me, Seymour.
Okay, the goat sucker supposedly eats chickens, goats, and other farm animals and pets. It has been reported all over the Americas, specifically southwestern United States, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. Has anyone seen pictures of certain members of Congress?
This
saying.
is missing something though. This is missing it because the original goat sucker, they called it that because it sucked all of the milk out of the goats.
Well, we're only on the opening blurb.
All right, because that was the original reason they called it the goat sucker. Anyway, go ahead.
There are two common versions of the chupacabra. There is the reptilian kind, the quote-unquote true chupacabra, and a canid kind, which are also called blue dogs.
Mm-hmm.
There have been more than 2,000 sightings of both types. When it sucks blood, it allegedly makes an odd noise. Moving on, gotta keep it polite because of the location.
Well, I think it would be a contented noise, but anyway.
All right, sightings in history. The first known attacks were in March of 1995 in Puerto Rico. 8 sheep were discovered dead, each completely drained of blood. Investigators found 3 strange puncture wounds in the chests of the animals, despite the odd circumstances. Authorities could only attribute the killings to a known predator, a fox perhaps. Others recognized the similarities to the enigmatic cattle mutilations, which were taking place in the American Southwest with increasing regularity.
Right.
The woman who first sighted the monster had an eyewitness description that was the basis for the most famous drawing of the chupacabra in the world. In a nearby city, around 30 citizens claimed to have seen the chupacabras, swearing it had swooped down from the sky and leapt over treetops. It wasn't until November 1995 that a detailed description of the chupacabras came from an eyewitness. On that autumn night in Puerto Rico, the creature struck again. Farmers awoke to a horrifying scene. Dozens of donkeys, rabbits, goats, cats, dogs, horses, and cows dead, with no explainable cause, just the mysterious markings left by the blood-drinking chupacabra. But in another city, a startled homeowner caught the world's first fleeting glimpse of the goat sucker, described as having huge red eyes and hairy arms. The creature allegedly broke into the bedroom of the house through a window, tore apart a child's stuffed teddy bear, and left a puddle of slime and a single piece of rancid meat on the windowsill before disappearing. See, it wasn't trying to destroy anything, it was just leaving lunch.
That sounds like a disgruntled father that got divorced.
Mm-hmm.
Touche.
That other picture. Say again.
I said
Excuse me
touche.
for a moment. I'll be right back.
That other picture looked like one of my squirrel brethren eating a piece of chicken.
Through the end of 1995, the chupacabra had been blamed for more than 1,000 mysterious animal deaths, all resulting from blood loss through one or more puncture wounds. In that time, several more eyewitnesses came forward, consistently describing the creature as being monkey-like but having no tail. They characterized it as having having large oval red eyes that sometimes glowed, gray skin, a long snake-like tongue, fangs, and long spinal quills that may double as wings.
Hmm.
What? Okay, I may not be an anatomical expert, but if it's a spinal quill, how can it act as a wing? Can anyone answer that question?
Mm-mm.
I would
Okay.
say no. I would say no, it cannot.
Yeah,
And this is
because
a
when
shitty description.
wouldn't you end up, or wouldn't it end up breaking its own spine trying to do that?
No, well, depends on the way the quill is formed. You know,
Okay.
if it's demon wings, but that's not a
Yeah,
quill, that's a wing.
yeah.
This is a shitty description. I'm sorry.
Those who saw it say that chupacabras stand between 4 and 5 feet tall, hops like a kangaroo, and leaves a foul sulfur-like stench. At the site of some deaths, unidentified three-toed tracks were found. Zoologists could think of no known animal that adequately fits this strange portrait. Later sightings across Mexico and the United States described strange hairless dog-like creatures sucking the blood of chickens, cattle, goats, and other livestock, until the chupacabra became widely known across the world. There's also police camera footage of the chupacabra. It was taken August 2008 in DeWitt County, Texas by 2 officers. The footage shows a canine-like animal running down the side of the road. The animal in the video appears furless with a long snout and pointed ears. It is possible that it could be a coyote or other canine infected with mange. Or it could be a
Mo-
keelet.
well, most of them are attributed to coyotes with mange, and the ones that
Yeah.
have been recovered are definitely coyotes with mange.
Yeah, we're not going to read the explanation. We're not going to read the description because we've already done that. We've got some nice pictures of types of chupacabras.
Yeah, I'm actually really disappointed with this one.
Oh, in popular media. In 2005, Sci-Fi Channel had an original movie called Chupacabra: Dark Seas, or Chupacabra: Terror, which featured a humanoid version of the chupacabra that killed soldiers and passengers on a cruise ship after smugglers attempted to sneak it into the United States.
Okay, that's stupid.
In 2013, another sci-fi original movie titled Chupacabra versus the Alamo featured the most seen canine version of the chupacabra
Man.
attacking a town in Texas and killing most of the residents.
This is bad as Sharknado.
In 2014, the comedy series Mike Tyson Mysteries had an episode where Mike Tyson and the gang go help an author finish up his story, but were attacked by a humanoid chupacabra.
Jesus Christ.
In the TV series Grimm, an episode titled Chupacabra included the infamous creature, yet instead of being reptile-like, it appears like a werewolf-like creature.
Mm-hmm.
I can buy that.
Which is much more traditional.
Mm-hmm. In 2017, a movie titled Chupacabra Territory featured a small humanoid monkey-like chupacabra that attacks a group of campers that are attempting to document the chupacabra and its attack in California. Okay, I'm not going to read the thing about inaccuracies because there's so many weird descriptions on this one that.
Yeah. Let's find a new subject.
Yeah, we're moving on. The further you get into this article, the worse it gets.
Oh god, this is a bunch of retards drinking paint thinner. What the fuck?
It was probably ayahuasca. All right, looking to see if I've got
Trust
any
me, it
other.
was paint thinner, and I'm talking toluene. Ooh, good stuff. Ugh.
Okay,
Wow.
I've got a couple on my list that come from the A's, so let's go ahead and jump over to there.
I hope there's one that's called asshole.
You sure it wasn't
No, I doubt Rhino's on here.
Ah,
Yeah.
damn.
You sure it wasn't clean strip lacquer?
Oh, it could have been that too. It
Now,
might have been that gold freaking Rust-Oleum that all the fucking huffers buy. I don't know.
Oh man.
now, both of these that I found, I think, are from from Asia, and have are names that are almost unpronounceable. So
Mm,
the first one is called the Akoro Kamui.
yep,
Um,
that's pretty close. Yep, I'd say that.
it is a gigantic part human, part octopus monster from Ainu and Shinto folklore, which lurks in Funka Bay in Hokkaido, Japan, and
Hmm.
has been cited in several other locations, including Taiwan and Korea, for centuries.
And by the way, that's Hokkaido.
Thank you.
Hmm.
This creature is also known as, wow, okay, Ashkatani Mott, or the long-fingered woman.
Yes, I think I'm familiar with this one. She's kind of wicked.
Did you date her previously?
No, thankfully I did not. I'd have given her a good shag though.
Let's be honest. You were Navy,
And I
and
was in Japan for 6 months.
this thing is aquatic.
Well, in Hokkaido, I'm
So
trying to remember which.
Yeah.
in other words, Tommy could have met up with somebody, had a few shagnanigans, and have a squid kid out there.
Well,
Oh
I was
goodness.
gonna say, does this thing reproduce with adult males, or
Let's
is it
find
only?
out.
Yeah, let's do that.
According to Shinto mythology, the creature is human-like and contains a bright red color. The 19th century account by John Batchelor confirms this. His book, The Ainu and Their Folklore,
Hmm.
I probably butchered that,
No, it's I knew. That's correct.
provides many details of the creature. It states that the creature was 120 meters in length. The book specifies that the red color of the Akoro Kamui,
Hmm.
a striking red, seemingly likened to the color of the reflection of the setting sun upon water.
Okay, so it's definitely squid.
The
Yes.
creature is also characteristically described with the ability to self-amputate, like several octopus species,
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
and regenerate the limbs.
Yep.
This
That's an
characteristic
escape function.
manifests in the belief that in Shinto that the creature has healing powers.
Hmm.
Consequently, it is believed among followers that give offerings to the creature, it will heal ailments of the body in particular, disfigurements and broken limbs.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
I'm gonna try and pronounce this, but I apologize in advance. I'm probably gonna slaughter it. Nade
What?
Yakushi is housed within the Teku Yakushi Do, a shrine dedicated to the Nade Yakushi, along the street Te- Teramachi-do, meaning Temple Town, in Kyoto.
That's pretty good.
I'm not going to read the entire legend or the Shinto customs,
Hmm.
and it does not have a pop culture reference. This one actually seems like something that would be used quite a bit in Japanese animes.
Well, this one is obviously folklore of the Shinto religion,
Yeah,
and it's actually probably revered, and with its healing properties that they're talking about, is probably offered offerings.
probably.
Hmm.
Okay, on that, we are at an hour and 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and do the midstream break. I'll cycle it twice, about 4 minutes. Let everyone go hit the restroom, refill your drinks if you have any, change underwear if we frightened you somehow, because a lot of these really aren't that frightening. And we'll see you guys back in about 4 minutes.
Sounds good.
Okay, is everybody back?
Yep.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty then. So we've got about another hour that I'm planning to do this for. And we might go ahead and go a little long if we don't see evidence of a certain waffle maker doing his deal. But
Highly doubtful, honestly.
yeah, but I'm not gonna fully commit to doing that at this point because part of the reason I
Mhm.
choose to do this as early as I do is so we can so people can actually go and enjoy their evening away from the internet for a little while. But moving on to the next to the A's that I located that I think you guys might enjoy. This is another real obscure one. It's called the Aspido Chilone. And yes, I know I butchered the name. Oh, and it's not here. That is annoying. Oh, give me just a moment to do a quick Google search for that one. Okay. I already found it if you were hunting for it.
Okay.
No, I was replying to Sean.
Okay.
Sean's out tonight.
Okay, so he's heading to duck out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Sean, thank you for joining us. I'm sorry you had to duck out early.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not going to share this screen simply because it's coming from Wikipedia Direct,
Yeah.
and I don't like giving them any more time than I have to.
Well, and those bastards will copyright strike you. You
know what? We're going to go
Yeah.
ahead and skip this one then. I'm not gonna deal with that nonsense.
They
So-
will too. I know
Oh,
those
yeah.
fuckers, and they have no copyright on anything. They are nothing more than an
Yeah.
online stilted encyclopedia.
To be completely honest, I fully expect the fandom wiki that I'm currently using or pulling this stuff from is possibly going to get a little annoyed because they are a Wikipedia aligned group. But yeah, whatever.
But we are giving them good press that nobody knows about. So
Yeah, especially considering the fact that I'm deliberately going for things that most people haven't heard of.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be easy to go with Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, the Honest Politician.
The Wendigo is another one.
Yeah, we could go with the ones that everyone's heard of. I think it's a little more fun to go with ones that no one's heard of outside the region where they came from.
Here's an idea. What is in the C category for coyote?
Well, let's go take a look.
Because
Ooh.
coyote has a lot of Native American.
Oh yeah. Oh, how cute. There's a cat fox.
Oh, that might be interesting. Let's go back to that if we don't find anything.
Okay. So, coyote.
Mm.
There's a coon cat
Oh, that's a good one.
and a coonigator.
Don't care
Coonigator.
about the coonigator.
Outlaw, what have you been doing down there?
I didn't do it.
Okay, I don't see coyote.
Twasn't me.
Well, I don't see it either.
Let's
All right.
go ahead and see what the coonigator looks
Oh
like.
God, that's going to be something
Oh,
interesting.
man. Yep, what I figured.
Coonigator, a cryptid that is believed to dwell in woodland regions surrounding Montpelier, Vermont.
What?
Described as a raccoon-like creature, but with a face which bears a striking resemblance to an alligator or crocodile. It also has a rounded torso and a thick coat of grayish fur. It is often mistaken for a raccoon at a distance, but those whom have had the opportunity to get a close look at these unique animals, they were terrified by the creature's faces.
This is somebody on a pot high. I'm telling you.
It looks like a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Although the origins of these reptomammalian hybrids remain shrouded in mystery, sightings have measurably increased during the past decade. What? Okay, hang on.
Well, in the last decade, we've had Pokemon.
Well, no,
What's-
hang on. There's another thing I want to point out. In the last decade, how many states have authorized use of recreational chemical substances?
Exactly.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
most of Pokemon is just that. What the
I
hell is that even? Yes, I agree, Slick South. You are absolutely correct, sir.
yeah, I
I don't know. I really don't.
I am sorry my curiosity led us down this.
It's okay. This is funny.
Oh no,
We
you're
needed
fine.
some levity.
Yeah, but holy what? I, this goes beyond crazy. Okay, I'm even more afraid now to see what this brings up. The coon cat is a mysterious half raccoon, half cat hybrid or cryptid that lives in the northwest part of the state of Georgia.
It's a
Mhm.
polecat.
Where are you from?
Outlaws in Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're kissing cousins to who you might be kissing cousins to whoever came up with this thing.
Oh man.
A teenager first spotted the coon cat while driving in a Dodge Caravan.
Oh. Yep.
Unfortunately, just as they were about to snap a photo, the coon cat ran away up into some trees. However, the day after, the young man returned to the spot and found prints that looked like it could have belonged to a cat or a raccoon. It sort of looked like both, the young man told his parents later on. Sort of like a cat, the body, but the head was definitely not a cat's. It was raccoon striped and had a broader than normal cat's face. The man admits that he might have been too far away to see the coon cat for real, but that does not stop him from thinking that this is a new sort of fearsome critter.
Oh man.
Every time I try to get some faith in humanity back, I come across an article like this.
Put what I set up
Hmm.
from the YouTube chat.
Yeah, I see it. Okay, I'm going to say this very, very clearly. People, if you've been drinking, if you've been doing anything that is not technically legal that allows your brain to go into an altered state, do not report every little thing you see. It's probably a hallucination or a chemical imbalance. It is not proof that that cheese wedge was talking to you.
It could have. What are you talking about?
You did
Man.
not see Jar Jar Binks in the Alabama swamp when you were drinking bad moonshine.
Oh.
Jeez.
Do not report every strange thing you see. Sometimes it's just that, a strange thing. Oh my god.
Making
My
us look bad, Alabama.
my faith in humanity just keeps dropping. All right, what was that other? The cat fox was the other one we saw, correct?
Yeah, I think the cat fox was the other one. And that's probably a Japanese one.
The cat fox is a possible new species of carnivoran discovered on the Indonesian part of the island of Borneo.
Oh, okay. Well,
It was
Asian,
first
yeah.
discovered by a Swiss-based environmental group in 2003 using a nighttime camera trap in Cayenne Meterang National Park. It's slightly larger than a cat, with red fur, a long tail, and hind legs that are longer than the front legs. Its overall appearance is something between a cat and a fox. In some ways, it resembles the fossa of Madagascar.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm trying to enhance this picture.
Enhance.
It looks like a lemur of some type with a very long tail that's thick and strong and
Yeah,
throbbing.
Okay. Okay. I'm usually more than happy to give people the benefit of the doubt when it comes to things that they think they see. I look at that and I don't see a cat-like creature. I see a lemur
Mm-hmm.
or maybe some other type of marsupial-like animal.
Telling
I
you,
don't
man,
I don't see
that's a penis tail. I'm telling you.
it's a lemur with some kind of a hair issue going on.
Yeah, probably mange. He probably met up with a chupacabra.
Okay, I'm not going to read the rest of this article because why WWF? Just why? We're going to do something that's off script. We're going to check out a category or the S category just because I want to see if Outlaw's buddies get just as badly bodied as my companion Evie's.
You were
family
thinking
did.
the same thing I was. I was just going to
Let's
ask.
do it.
Squirrels.
Yes.
Sheep squatch. What the fuck?
We'll go back. Okay, well, there's the squash holager.
There's no squirrel. Oh, there we go. We're in the queues now.
No.
Nope, I don't see anything based off of a squirrel.
You know what this is? You know what this is? This is obvious bigotry.
Yeah, of course.
Because squirrels are being set to the side and enslaved.
Well, hang on, Outlaw. Hang on, Tommy. There's another theory here. We know there's an organization called the Illuminati.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We finally figured out who the Illuminati are.
The squirrels.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, so what was the one that you saw that I just breezed right through?
Something sheep. It's quite a ways up. Spectre moose. Oh, silver cat. That would be a fun one. It was like Sasquatch sheep or something. I don't remember what the hell it was now. It was something sheep.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm not seeing it again.
Oh, there's all kinds of ammunition in here, man.
Saber-toothed deer.
That's not abnormal. That one is real.
Wait, what?
Yes. They actually have them in Africa. They have tusks.
Okay, I found the sheep squatch.
There we go. Sheep squatch. That's what it was.
Okay, now I'm a little terrified.
Oh, don't worry about it. They're in Africa, dude. Unless you go to Africa, you're fine. That's a sheep squatch?
The sheep squatch, also known as the white thing.
Also in West Virginia.
Is a woolly-haired cryptid reported across the numerous counties in West Virginia, predominantly within the southwestern region of the state. The counties with the most sightings are Boone. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to embarrass you guys any further.
Wow.
It is described as being
Putnam and Mason too? Oh my God.
It is described as being a quadruped about the size of a bear with entirely white wool-like fur. It has a long and pointed head similar to a dog, but with long saber-like teeth and a single point set of horns, not dissimilar from those on a young goat. Its forelegs end in paw-like hands, similar to those of a raccoon but larger, while its tail is long and hairless like that of a possum. It is reputed to smell like sulfur, which has been attributed through folklore to the beast being born in the TNT area in Mason County, like the Mothman. Although this is not likely and instead may be a musk scent gland similar to those found in many species of the order Carnivora, such as weasels and skunks. We're going to bypass sightings and go on down to entertainment just because there's a
This
lot
one
of.
right here is what is the cryptid thing we were going to do and we didn't do it?
I don't remember. There's a couple of them.
No, I mean the show we were going to do and we postponed it.
Oh,
Uh,
God.
The SC, what is it?
Oh, that SCP thing?
Yeah, this thing needs to be on there.
I'm sure there probably is a skip for it.
Yeah.
The sheep squatch was featured in the Destination America series Monsters and Mysteries in America, where it was encountered by a couple of hunters after it killed their dogs in the time prior.
Mm.
The Wild Appalachia update to Bethesda's Fallout 76 added sheep squatch as a new cryptid to encounter. Okay, we're moving on.
This makes Alabama tame. Oh shit.
Oh man.
My mother's calling. I'm gonna have to mute out and
I'll
answer
drop.
her
I'll drop
for a
you off
minute.
for it. I'll drop you off for now.
All right.
Okay. Outlaw.
Yeah.
I'm sorry your state has given us so many of these. I really am.
Oh.
I thought my home state of Missouri was bad for mythical creatures.
Oh yeah.
I
Man.
remember my mom taking her siblings from Wisconsin on snipe hunts when they would come by to visit.
Oh man.
Let's go ahead and continue on this. I don't even know what to call it at this point. Okay, so E, B, T, L, or G. Oh, also there's M in here too.
Let's see.
Can you tell my faith in humanity's been damaged just by reading this?
Yeah.
I didn't think you could do that anymore, but I just learned something.
I'm going to gamble here and say G.
Okay, let me see. I hope you're not a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Not really, no.
Okay, good. Because if there's anyone who's a Guardians of the Galaxy fan in the chat, I fully expect jokes to be thrown at me on this one. It's the Groot slang.
Oh boy.
The Groot slang, or Groot slang, Afrikaans and Dutch for big snake, is a legendary cryptid that is reputed to dwell in a deep cave in the Richtersveld, South Africa. According to legend, the Groot slang is a primordial creature as old as the world itself. Tales state that gods, new to the crafting of things, made a terrible mistake in the Groot slang's creation and gave it tremendous strength, cunning, and intellect. Realizing their mistake, the gods split the Groot slang into separate creatures and thus created the first elephants and the first snakes. But one of the original Groot slangs escaped, and from this sire, all other Groot slangs were born. It is claimed to devour elephants by luring them to its cave. The cave is known as the Wonder Hole, or the Bottomless Pit. Supposedly, it connects to the sea, which is 40 miles away, according to local legend. The cave is filled with diamonds and is also said to live in warm water or warm rivers and lakes. In Benin, it is said to be a huge elephant-like creature with a serpent's tail. Sometimes it is depicted as a snake with orange gems for eyes. Also, according to the tales, just checking something. Sorry, gentlemen. Also according to the tale, the Groot slangs covet gems, particularly diamonds. And despite the creature's lust for cruelty, victims can often bargain for their freedom by offering a Groot slang enough precious gems. While searching for treasure in the Richtsveld of South Africa in 1917, an English businessman disappeared after members of his party were attacked and injured by lions, prompting legends that the Groot slang had killed him. It has been featured in the TV show Secret Saturdays. That wasn't terrible.
Mm-mm.
That was a good old fashioned folklore creature that could be real, could be something else. Okay, welcome back, Tommy. Everything good?
All is well. Grandma was wanting me to call her and thank her for the birthday gift she sent me. She sent me $50 for my birthday in October. So,
Oh, well, congratulations.
well, my grandmother is 91 years old. So,
So I assume you heard the article we just read over.
no, I didn't. I was talking to my mother, figuring out what the hell was going on.
Elephant snake hybrid called the Groot slang.
God, I don't need to hear anymore.
Yeah, I'm not reading that again. Okay.
Please don't.
Okay, gentlemen. On the list I have here, we've got 8 more critters that I listed down as being potentials.
Mm.
We can cut some of these off, but I'm gonna give you all, or Tommy, I gave Outlaw the last pick. I'm gonna give
Right.
you the pick this time. We have M, F, E, B, T, and L to choose from.
Well, M is in motherfucker. Let's do it.
Alrighty.
Sorry for my language.
That's okay. Honestly, at the rate things have been going, I will be shocked if this channel still exists after this one.
Well, and once I read the Frog Prince, we are really gonna love it.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting that I'm probably going to get canned.
Well, they will try to copyright that, but they can't because it's open source. It's 1812.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em.
Well, and the other thing is, if they hit me with a 2-week strike, so what? I only stream every 2 weeks.
There is that.
That is true.
Okay, so I've got 2 creatures listed in M's, and since they're in alphabetical order, we're going to go ahead and hit the first one.
All right. Momo. Oh,
The-
I know this one.
Cool. And it's from my home state.
Uh-huh. This thing
Momo
is
is the
actually
name of a
kinda
local
scary.
legend. Say again.
I said this thing's actually kind of scary.
Momo is the name of a local legend, similar to the Bigfoot, which is reported to live in Missouri. The name Momo is short for Missouri Monster and is reported to have large, pumpkin-shaped head, a very furry body, and hair covering the eyes. First reported in 1971 near Louisiana, Missouri, Momo has been spotted up and down the Mississippi River. It is supposedly a large, 7-foot tall, hairy, black, man-like creature that eats dogs and emits a terrible odor. Some suggest it was a rogue black bear. Following sightings in 1972 and lasting for about 2 weeks, tracks were found and submitted to Lawrence Curtis, director of the Oklahoma City Zoo and Botanical Garden. He determined it to be a hoax. Okay, well, there's not a whole heck of a lot there. Kind of sad.
I know a chick named Momo. Trying
Well,
to get
wasn't
some.
hang on, wasn't the villain in the movie Dread named Momo? Oh, wait, never mind. That was Mama. My bad.
Mm,
Okay, and I know I said we're generally avoiding the more well-known cryptids tonight, but because the second half of the movie is coming out later this year,
yeah.
we're talking about something that probably inspired part of Frank Herbert's Dune, the Mongolian death worm.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Outlaw, you're not going to want to look at your screen for this one.
Oh jeez.
The Mongolian death worm's native name, Olgoi korkoi, means intestine worm due to its blood red or blood-like color and its size, which is the size of an intestine. It has been described by many to be from 2 to 7 feet long, have the ability to spit out a corrosive yellow saliva, and generate blasts of electricity. However, this latter power is thought to be as being as folkloric by the nomads of the Gobi. Western culture has come to call this monster the Mongolian death worm. Mongolian nomads believe the giant worm covers its prey in an acidic substance that turns everything a corroded yellow color. Legend says that as the creature begins to attack, it raises half its body out of the sand and starts to inflate until it explodes, releasing lethal poison all over the unfortunate victim. The poison is so venomous that the prey dies instantly, and so did the creature. Why? Just why? Livestock and humans are supposed to be its main prey. Because Mongolia had been under Soviet control until 1990, very little was known about the death worm in the West. In recent years, investigators have been able to look for evidence of the creature's existence. A Loch Ness monster detective studied the region and interviewed many Mongolian people about the worm. Due to the sheer volume of sightings and strange deaths, he came to the conclusion that the death worm was more than just a legend. Nobody is entirely sure what the worm actually is. Experts are certain that it is not a real worm because the Gobi Desert is too hot in an area for annelids to survive. Some suggested it might be a skink, but they have little legs and scaly skin, whereas witness accounts specify the worm is a limbless and smooth-bodied. The most probable explanation is that the death worm is a new species of what? Amphisbaenia, or worm lizard, a group of burrowing reptiles.
Amphisbaenia. Yeah.
Thank
Something
you.
like that.
Although the native Mongolian people are convinced of the death worm's nature, it will take more years of research to satisfy the rest of the world's scientific community. In 2005, an expedition from the Center for Fortean Zoology crossed 1,000 miles of the Gobi on the track of the death worm. They concluded it was probably a large, unknown type of worm lizard that had the powers attributed to it were apocryphal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in entertainment, the main antagonists in the Tremors series are called graboids, and were
Yep.
based on the death worm. It made an appearance on The Lost Tapes, where a pack of these things attack a couple of ATV riders who are stranded in the Mongolian desert. Sci-Fi Channel made it an original movie called The Mongolian Death Worm. Ark Survival Evolved as part of the Scorched Earth DLC. I don't know what I just hit. It was added as a huge worm taller than a T-Rex with leg-like appendages by the mouth and only able to bite and claw. And it's also in a mobile game.
Oh God. Ah.
Anyone else kind of disturbed by this now?
Not really. This is like the bloodworms off the Massachusetts coast.
Yeah. Okay, Outlaw,
Yeah.
you've got the choice this time. F, E, B, T, or L.
Oh. Let's see here. Let's go with L.
Alrighty then. I'm going to regret this one. I know I'm going to regret this one. I know I'm going to regret this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I gave you all the choice. Lizard
God.
men. The term lizard man is not specific to one specific cryptid. Instead, it is used to describe a broad spectrum of bipedal, hominid-like reptilian men, sometimes referred to as Homo subterraptus. Sightings of lizard men are reported all over the globe, including the Intulo of South Africa, the Cherufi lizard man of South America, the New Jersey gator man, the Loveland frogman of Ohio, the lizard man of Scape or Swamp, Canadian lizard man, Nagas of India, Kappas of Japan, and many others. On Mountain Monsters, there is supposedly a large demon that roams the rivers running through Wood County, West Virginia. I'm not going to read the explanations because, given what it is, there's all sorts of those.
Mm-hmm.
They have shown up all over, including in a trading card game.
Mm-hmm. I'll bet Riggs has released some of those.
Lizardmen or
The lizard men in the trading game, the pop culture trading game.
okay. We are going to go ahead and jump on over to the F's because we've got one here that I've heard of before in passing. I don't know how many other people have heard of it. Who here has heard of the Flatwoods Monster?
Nope.
The Flatwoods Monster, also known as the Braxton County Monster, Braxy by locals, or the Frametown Monster, is a cryptid sighted in the forests of Flatwoods, West Virginia, and Frametown, West Virginia, respectively. It is believed to be of extraterrestrial nature. The entity was initially reported as being about 10 feet tall and 4 feet wide. It appeared to be some sort of robotic suit or spacecraft rather than an organic being. It had a cowl in the shape of an ace of spades behind a red round head. Set in the head were two eyes described as portholes, glowing green-orange and the size of $50. The body was a metallic armored structure lined with thick vertical pipes. Discrepancies exist in the actual color of the armor, some claiming it to be black while others say it was green. The existence of arms is a similar matter. Most state that the monster was armless, while others claim it was pronounced with possessed small toy-like arms. The Frametown monster, believed to be the same creature from Flatwoods, wore similar pipe-lined metallic armor from the waist down. From the waist up, however, it was a reptilian humanoid. I'm not sure which is worse. We're not going to go through the sightings again because there's a lot of them there. In pop culture, it had a design that's popular in Japanese UFO culture and used in multiple video games, such as the final boss of the NES video game Amagon and the Stage 2 boss of the video game Space Harrier. In the anime series Sergeant Frog, an alien modeled after the Flatwood Monsters appears in the episode Fake It Till You Make It. Of course, Zelda got into this.
Oh, of course.
In Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, it features creatures referred to as them invading Romani Ranch in a UFO. They bear a striking resemblance to the monster. That's probably why I remember it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many hours I wasted as a kid trying to beat that game. Never actually did beat it, I don't think.
Yeah.
In the Wii U game, The Wonderful 101, the character Gimme has a striking resemblance to this thing. And we're not going to read the rest of these because there's just too many different options. Here's a few images of what people think it could have been.
It's a phallic mushroom.
You know what? It honestly wouldn't shock me if that was the case. We are talking about 1800s West Virginia.
Well, we're talking about West Virginia, and they're all, yeah, never mind.
Okay. So, E, B, or T. Either one of you, or we can let the chat decide.
What's the
Yeah,
chat
it's
say?
Slick South. That's why we're not really covering Mothman tonight, because that'll open a can of worms that I don't feel like dealing with today.
Yeah, we don't need to do with the Duke Blue Devil either, or New
Yeah.
Jersey Blue Devil.
Oh, there were several of them that made my short list that I scratched off because I realized they're either too well known or there's just no point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot there's also an N in there. So we got 4 more to choose from, gentlemen.
What does chat think?
Options at the moment are Echo, Bravo, Tango, or November. I need to rig something up that like what Billy has for these open source streams where we can just spin a wheel with all the names that I decide to throw in there.
Well, and if we're not getting a response from chat, which we're not, let's do November.
Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking
Alrighty
NT.
then.
Because I know what the N word is.
Oh, trust me, it's not that.
Damn it.
Okay. This one might actually be from Asia. The Ninjin.
Mm-hmm.
Over the past few years, rumors have circulated in Japan about the existence of aquatic humanoid life forms inhabiting the icy waters of the Antarctic. Reportedly observed on multiple occasions by crew members of government-operated whale research ships, that is in quotation marks, by the way, these so-called ninjin, with ninjin meaning human, are said to be completely white in color with an estimated length of 20 to 30 meters. Eyewitnesses describe them as having a human-like shape, often with arms, legs, and even 5-fingered hands. Sometimes they're described as having fins or a large mermaid-like tail instead of legs, or even tentacles. Of course they would have tentacles. We're talking about something that was originated by the
from
Japanese.
Japan. Yep, exactly.
The only visible or identifiable facial features are the eyes and the mouth. According to one account, crew members on deck observed what they initially thought was a foreign submarine in the distance. When they approached, however, it became clear from the irregular shape of the thing that it was not man-made, it was alive, and the creature quickly disappeared underwater. All right, we're not going to worry about the rest of that. While there's nothing to prove that Ninjin is a hoax, the photo evidence is either hoax or artistic interpretations. It's thought that it could be whales, sharks, or squid, a giant manta ray, an aquatic sloth, a misidentified iceberg, an
Aquatic sloth? What?
a undiscovered subspecies of beluga, an aquatic sloth, an evolutionary relative of humans. However, this is unlikely due to their size, although they could have changed through evolution. A species of aquatic or semi-aquatic animal, likely descended evolved from the large-sized carnivore animals such as leopards, seals, or killer whales that evolved into a more noticeable humanoid shape due to convergent evolution. A species of heavily evolved animal that is related to some kind of dinosaur type creature. Descended species of I'm not even going to try. Or a photo manipulation.
I'm gonna call bullshit on that one.
Yeah, I can't completely disagree, but you know, we can't entirely rule any of these out at this point. Because there is more on this planet that we don't know about than what we do know about, especially in the
Ooh.
oceans.
Ooh, the Niger fire spitter. Wow.
You want to take a look at that one?
I don't care.
Yeah, let's go ahead and see what it is. Oh, goody, a dragon. The Niger fire spitter was a dragon dinosaur-like creature reported in 1984. It was found by local uranium miners who were then chased by the fire spitter to town where it was shot by local soldiers. Almost all information on this creature comes from a man whose servant had seen it. This makes almost the entire case only hearsay. However, one fact that makes the story more believable is the description. The man who sent the email was well educated, but his servant wasn't. Once he drew the outlines of a, you're going to like this one, outlaw, brontosaur like dinosaur, and showed it to him, expecting either a yes, I saw this on the TV once, or no, sir. He was surprised, to say the least, when his servant answered, oh, yes, I have seen this before in my village. When he later corrected him, saying that it did have a long neck, or he later corrected him, saying it did have a long neck and tail, but the head was more like a crocodile's or a caiman's, he also added that both of its feet were the same length and they were clawed, much like how a spinosaur would potentially be described today. The email was sent back in 2002 before Spinosaur is described as bipedal in 2014. It is said to be reptilian with tough elephant-like skin, the color of sand with black small and white spots, spines from the base of the neck and finish before the tail, 4 legs of the same length, the feet were like those of an ostrich with big claws, its tracks on the ground were like those of an ostrich. It is said to have had a long neck and tail, but not as long as the brontosaur drawing. The tail is very thick and strong. The head was like a crocodile's head with big eyes. Big eyes may indicate that it's either nocturnal or a young creature. When attacked by soldiers, the creature retaliated by by spitting fire at them while hunching and elevating its spines. The eyewitness indicates a height of 60 to 80 centimeters, which makes people think it was just a baby. A month-long search was undertaken for its mother.
This one needs to go to Rhino
Yeah, and honestly,
as proof that the Brontosaurus still exists.
yeah, I'll
And
let
yeah,
you make.
that's a bullshit photo, by the way.
Yeah, I'll let you make that argument because
Mm.
I'm not about to. Alrighty, well, moving on. What's the current time now?
We're
Okay,
running out.
we've got 153. We can either do one more of these articles, or we can go ahead and do final thoughts for Outlaw and myself, and let Tommy D close us out with the Frog Prince.
Yeah. If MGTOW is going to come back, Mr. Outlaw.
Yeah, I did not realize he was muted.
Yeah, he was muted. which means
Oh God, I've been talking the whole time and didn't even know. Shit.
yeah.
God, I've been talking the whole time and didn't even know. Shit.
What's up with
Jesus.
that, man?
I don't
You got
know.
some crazy woman in there just yakking in your ear or something?
Oh. No, I was putting together some thumbnails and stuff.
Yeah.
What we got here?
Well, we can do one more of the articles that I've got listed on my short list, or we can let Tommy D close us out with a reading of of one of the earliest versions of the Frog Prince.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Tommy?
It's up to you guys, actually. Jimmy doesn't look to be active at all.
Yeah, that's normal.
So if we run long, it's not going to be an issue. We're not going to run into his shit.
Unless he's starting at 9, which is possible.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I haven't seen anything popping up. It's up to you guys.
Okay, well,
It's probably about a 5-minute read on this Frog Prince. So
let's save that one for the next stream then, because
Yeah.
what I'm planning to do on the next stream is talk about movie monsters from the last several years.
oh, well, this one's not a movie monster, not anywhere near.
No, not per se, but if I remember the basic outline of the story correctly, it does have a lot of similarities to Wolfman and some of the other more well-known Hollywood creatures, at least thematically.
The Frog Prince? No.
Okay, well,
No, this one will blow you guys' mind. I'd say let's do it.
all right.
It's
Well,
actually kind of interesting.
in that case, let me close out these 2 web pages. And Outlaw, I'm going to let you give your final thoughts for the stream. Put you backstage so Tommy can do his reading. I'll do my final thoughts, go backstage, and then let Tommy finish out with his reading of that.
Absolutely. Well, listening to a lot of these stories, I'm pretty sure both you guys are probably on the same trajectory thought wise that I am. They sound like undiscovered animals, right? Things that people, their imagination runs wild when they don't know what to identify things as. So they start vividly describing things. And of course, with their ability not to remember fresh details because they're in such a state of shock seeing a lot of these things, or they claim to see them. That's what I would say a lot of these are. That's what it sounds like to me, is a lot of these are just maybe creatures that have not been discovered yet, or haven't had proper scientific names, if they exist, if any of these exist at all. So that's what I would say based upon what I've heard. But yeah, man, this has been really fun. I enjoyed this.
Okay, Outlaw, I'm going to go ahead and remove you from the stream. Okay, I'm doing this kind of out of order. This is my final thoughts for tonight's stream, and then I'm going to pop off. First of all, for the 9 people that are still with us, thank you. I'm glad we didn't bore you to death. And very much like what Outlaw was saying, a lot of cryptozoology is creatures that have been seen, but have not been seen clearly enough to give a good identification, and or have not been seen in numbers enough to really indicate that, yes, that is a legit new species. For all we know, every one of these creatures that we discussed tonight could be real. Also, every one of them we discussed tonight could be a bad ayahuasca trip. And the keelet, and I'm focusing on that one specifically because it actually is a named creature in one of my favorite creepypastas that I found online. The story, or the series, My Property Isn't Normal, where the main character encounters a keelet, kills a keelet, and everyone around him is going, how the hell did you kill a keelet? So it's one of these things where, in my mind, yeah, these creatures, half of them, probably nonsense. The other half, there's too much ambiguity there. And like certain people in our community like to point out, the only difference between a legend and a fact is who's telling the story and how long it is between the original report and the time it got written down. But on that note, all of you, thanks for joining in. I hope you enjoyed the program. If I can get certain things working, I'm going to do something a little different on my end for the next stream. But I'm not making any promises because I don't know if my system's going to cooperate. Murphy has been a complete insert name here. But I'm going to go backstage and I'm going to let Tommy D close this out.
Thank you, good sir. So tonight we will finish with the original version of the Frog Prince according to the Grimm's brothers. The Frog Prince. Once upon a time, there was a king who had 3 daughters, and in his courtyard there was a well with beautiful clear water. On a hot summer's day, the eldest daughter went to the well and scooped out a glass full of water. However, when she looked at it and held it up to the sun, she saw that the water was murky. She found this very unusual and wanted to scoop out another glass when a frog stirred in the water, stuck his head up high, and finally jumped up onto the edge of the well where he spoke. If you'll be my sweetheart, my dear, I'll give you water clearer than clear. She replied, Oh, who'd ever want to be a nasty frog's sweetheart? She cried out and ran away. Then she told her sisters that there was an odd frog down at the well that made the water murky. The second sister became curious and so went down to the well and scooped a glass of water for herself, but it was just as murky as her sister's glass, so she wasn't able to drink it. Once again, however, the frog was on the edge of the well and said, If you will be my sweetheart, my dear, I'll give you water clearer than clear. She replied, Do you think that would suit me? The princess replied and ran away. Finally, the third sister went, and things were no better. But when the frog spoke, If you'll be my sweetheart, my dear, I'll give you water clearer than clear. She replied, Yes, why not? I'll be your sweetheart. Get me some clean water. However, she thought, that won't do any harm. I can speak to him just as I please. A dumb frog can never become my sweetheart. Meanwhile, the frog had jumped back into the water, and when she scooped up some water a second time, it was so clear that the sun nearly gleamed with joy in the glass. Then she drank and quenched her thirst, and also brought her sister some of the water. Why were you so simple minded and afraid of the frog? She said to them. And afterward, the princess didn't think anything more about it and went happily to bed. However, after she had been lying there for a while, she couldn't fall asleep. She suddenly heard some scratching at the door and then some singing. Open up, open up, princess, youngest daughter. Don't you remember? You said you would be my sweetheart at the water's edge. You wanted to be my sweetheart, my dear, and I gave you water clearer than clear. Oh, that's my sweetheart, the frog, the princess said. And since I gave him my word, I'll open the door. So she got out of bed, opened the door a little, and then lay back down in the bed. The frog hopped after her and jumped on the bed by her feet and remained there. When the night was over, the morning dawned, and the frog sprang off the bed and went through the door. The next evening, when the princess was again once lying in bed, there was some scratching and singing at the door once more. The princess opened the door, and the frog lay in the bed at her feet until it turned day. On the third evening, the frog came just like he had done the previous evenings. This is the last time I'll open the door for you, the princess said to him. In the future, there will be no more of this. Then the frog jumped and crawled under her pillow, and the princess fell asleep. When she woke up the next morning, she thought the frog would hop off again. Instead, she saw a handsome young prince standing before her, and he told her that he had been the bewitched frog that she had saved him because she had promised to be his sweetheart. Then the two of them went to the king, who gave them his blessing, and a wedding was held. Meanwhile, the two other sisters were angry with themselves because they had not taken the frog to be their sweethearts. Moral of the story, gentlemen, pay attention to the bitches you're talking to. If it's a frog, it might be your prince. And if you want a prince, that's good. But if you're a female, you need that prince. On that, I'm out. Take over, Mando. We're good to go.